go. Let it go. Lord, help me let it go. 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 Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go. Yeah, let's get go. Yeah, let it go. Help me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Help me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give your heart to Jesus. Let it take control. Just sit and worship. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband fall in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I say let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if you say you will continue to be a zobo, if you say you will continue to be a prostitute, if you say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not bear your own children. If you say your need is borrow, some go to meeting, mommy can say no, Johnny, ginger. Just let it go. Jesus will change your story. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, let it go. Let it go. So help me let it go. Help me let it go, man.
Yeah. Mighty blow. Holla, holla. Nobody do it like you do it. You a true God. Yes. You always hear me when I say my prayer with few words. But Jenna said, if they plant it in this new world, be the power every day. And while I'm still a good boy, Jehovah bigger than your problem, so just let it go. Just keep on praying, He will make a blessing overflow. To be the best and more the rest, you gotta pray more. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of mighty blow. But there is power in your blood. And while I'm giving praises, I gotta dance that David did. They think I'm getting crazy. But love is how you make it, brother. May not be his. Every time I sing, I'm on my knees. Begging God for mercy. Thank you for your love, blessing, and forgiveness. You solved my problem, Lord. You took me from the wilderness. Now only you can keep my struggle when I'm very stressed. So my papa bless me, then my enemy they get the best. No matter what.
Good evening, folks. Welcome. I'm Professor Zienso to the Liberal Public Radio. This is Conversation with the Liberal Progressive. But I'm here to sit in here this evening. Hopefully he's going to be here. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for being here this evening. What a beautiful music, gospel music fading away here this evening. Saturday, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are at, and of course our own contributors, senior analysts. May God to bless and give us some blessing this evening. And I now like my own sister, and Walton Carter, senior contributor based in Connecticut. Good evening, welcome. The talking point continues right here on the Diaspora Informative News Area. Mr. Tia, you are rightfully located here this evening. Share the video, share the link, invite someone to your company because we'll be having a conversation here this evening. How many of us waiting to let go?
Spread of denial, spread of depression.
Here come Kona. Good evenings, good morning, good afternoon.
Oh, I'm tired.
Let's let it go.
I can go and go.
Quiet Liberian guy. I love that name. I hope you quiet.
Let it go. Your best friend take your horse, man.
Hey,
Let it go.
that one again, let that
If
one
your
go,
wife say
forget
we're
it.
not compatible.
I'm in Pega. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Z, and so right here this evening.
If someone feel for you before, they kill your mother and they kill your father. They kill your wife and make your children homeless.
Oh man, can I let that go? Well, that's also is the song to write out. Welcome to the show. To very shortly, we're gonna get this program going.
Let it go, mama, let it go, yeah. Papa,
This is the
let
first time on LPR. I will say good evening to welcome. Please hit the share button to invite someone to your company here as well. We are about to talk national issue. And of course, your participation, as usual, is welcome on this network. We don't sanction voices. All voices must be heard. We leave no one behind.
your money gone. Don't even want to see you.
Oh, man.
And your just side, they call you good for nothing. I say in your family, they call you useless.
Oh, yeah.
But one day, Jesus will make you useful. So let it go, 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 go.
126 days to go. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Z, and so.
Will you?
West African state of the Republic of Liberia continues. I will say welcome to the show. I am Alfonso Z, and so right here this evening, hopefully the Liberal will be joining us. Thank you so much for joining us here, right here. It's on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet, Liberia Public Radio. To welcome very shortly the analysts. They're going to be here to dissect, to give us some talking point here on some of the news making headline in Liberia. Welcome to the show, and let's get the ball rolling right now. See here tonight, we're going to have the program going here, and very shortly, the rest of the folks, hopefully they will be here, but even if they are not here, I count on you for us to have the conversation. Welcome. I'm Alfonso Z, and so of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. That's the fortified executive mansion, the official residence of the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. The clock is eating, a lot of preparation is being made. Sooner or later, it was a couple of months ago, we were talking about, 2023, 2023, there's going to be an election. But guess what? The bell is ringing, 126 days to go. NEC providing the press briefing and all of that. And we were jumping the guns to have a conversation. But what is the new thing that we have learned so far? And hopefully the analysts, they're going to be here. And of course, you yourself been monitoring what is happening inside Liberia, and we will give you the opportunity to have that conversation as well. Welcome to the show. Let's take a quick commercial commitment. There are people who are helping to get this wheel going. But before then, let me just be quick here because it seems I'm running ahead of my own shadow here. Well, Liberia Public Radio is bereaved one of our own. For 13 years, this guy we've been working together. His father, Mike Dine, is the head of the Liberia Public Radio team in Liberia. I've never seen a young man who is so very respectful, so contented with what he has. His volunteering with this network, it cannot just be overemphasized. His father, I remember when I was back home a year ago, went for my mom, Barreto, I met the old man, very decent old man, reservoir of knowledge from his talking. The late old man, David Gompat Dan, passed yesterday, and Liberia in Monrovia yesterday morning. I got a phone call. Actually, it was around 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning when he called and broke that news. I also shared that with folks in the Liberian Public Radio chat, and folks have been sending messages of condolences to the old man. Mike is a very good guy, and we'll keep you posted of what about interment that will be taking place. Of course, LPR's crew will be there to give him. But it just happened yesterday. We just started sharing that, and our prayers and thought goes out to Mr. Mike Dan, son of the deceased, and the entire family, his family as well, the entire Dan family. I met him the last time in Morovia, and old man, he's a very decent old man. All his talking it's quite different from what we'll be seeing nowadays. I think almost 90 or 90 some more. Yeah, he has gone home to rest as well. So our prayers and thought goes out to Mike. We'll keep our viewers, our followers, our listeners posted as well on information for what we know. Family are now making plans to lay the old man to rest. For what we know now, he will be buried in Morovia. Most of the semblance children and family members are based in Morovia, so he will be laid to rest in Morovia, not in his own town of Nima County. It doesn't matter. A higher thing is to be laid to rest. So, Mike, our prayers and thought goes out to you. Let's take a quick commercial break, and I will be right back.
About your business entity, if the
Let's see how kind.
157262610. Address is 6523 Woolen Avenue in Philadelphia. Uncle Musa's Store, a home of organic food for healthy family. Tell Uncle Musa is LPR TV gives you this message.
welcome everyone. This is Liberia Public Radio. We are coming to you from Uncle Musa's Grocery, one of the groceries located on Woolen Avenue. And I have here with me the proprietor, Uncle Musa, the owner of the store. Uncle Musa, please tell all about about your business entity in the Philadelphia area.
Okay, this is welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery. This is 6523 Woolen Avenue, zip code 19142, and we have another store on 804 Garrett Road, Upper Darby. That's all in Pennsylvania. Our grocery mostly will carry African food, palm oil, imported from Liberia and West Africa. So you're welcome here. We have a very good customer service. We have very reasonable prices. And anything you want from Liberia, trust me, you will get it from Uncle Musa Grocery. So we welcome everybody. And I promise you, you get good customer service in our stores. So choose to come in.
Okay, that's the voice of the owner of Uncle Musa's Grocery. And I want to welcome all of you. This is one of the leading African stores in Philadelphia. Trust me, we are always here, and anything that you want from Africa, you can get it right here at Uncle Musa's Grocery Store.
Okay, that's Uncle Musa. Uncle Musa is a good partner to this network. Since been more than 2-3 years, he always gave up sponsorship. And like we say, in as much we will ask, but we'd like to do a piece of job for you. That way you can give. Too much of free hands is just not good. So some of you get businesses here inside Liberia. You have conventions, graduations, whatever memorable event you think that worth sharing. And that's what we're supposed to do. We also must talk about ourselves. There are some good aspects, good things about ourselves. Not everything about politics. Those people who talk and put soul in our esophagus. And at the end of the day, we end up being the victim because we end up going to get medications and they don't even look at you. You scream, you yell. It's good. You want to do something for your country. But we cannot also forget ourselves. So we also prioritize your talent, your creativity, your innovations. There are some of you get a lot of story worth telling. This is why this network, we do not leave anybody behind. What are we, people on our invitation to come here or not, we still have the capacity to put something together that we can have a conversation. That is much more important. So Uncle Musa, I would say thank you so much for your patronage. And so some of you who are also involved in businesses, that's what we want to do. But in the meantime, like we said, we are now airing a program inside Liberia, and that's it's free of charge. But you have to use your good conscience as a human being. These people, even people that go in studio to relay, they're not walking by line. And even if they're walking by line, they got to drink water. You know how hot it is in that country. So we got to use our good conscience as well to, help them say, hey, this one here is your transportation. So at your own volition, we're not forcing anybody. We've been doing this for what? LPRO, Liberia Public Radio, is the oldest news outlet. Check. It's the oldest. LPRO started with almost Liberian destiny debaters with D-Flow. All of us, we started oldest. But time has evolved and a lot of network has grown. We are not in competition with anybody. The only competition we are in with people is quality, to put quality information out, not just anything, because people need entertainment. And we do understand that people want to be entertained. But at this consequential time, I think entertainment should be the last thing we should focus on, and try to focus on these critical and challenging time that we are facing as a people, as a nation, and as a country. And now we are doing just okay. We are just doing okay. But it's a partnership. It's a collaboration. This is time consuming. It is a sacrifice. You push your 8 hour, I push my 8 hour. You push your 16 hour, I push my 16 hour. But we choose to do what we are doing. You didn't force us, but somebody got to step in the gap. So if you see reason what we are doing is authentic, is genuine, you don't necessarily have to go, because that's what I've noticed and realized in our Liberian community. You either take a side and be very aggressive, abusive, or something, then you have people to be on your side. And that's not what we want to do here, no matter what. 13 years we have survived, and there's a possibility and probability to we'll get to that finishing line where we want to get. I don't have to buy more specific group of people or a political party for their folks to give. That we will not do. And you have seen the analysts on this network. We argue and exchange ideas on substance, how we see it, how we view it, and folks counteract it. And that is good for the nation. And that's what we want to do. So the Cash App is in Liberia Public Radio. Account, the Zelle account is attached to our account, Citizen Bank. Nothing inside. Nothing inside. Not even $500 inside. I would say I'm not going to be like a Libra. He ready to come here. We don't need money. Why would you say you don't need money when you have people volunteer for you? Of course, we do. These lights, the system running the kind of internet survey. I remember my provider asking, said, are you running the corporations? Why are you using about 1,000 gigabytes what are you doing? I say, yes, I'm running a corporation. Because while we got to put our quality product to in order for you to stay, when we post saying they start giving like a Christmas light because the internet is not good, you're using some kind of cricket internet, then that's not a good thing. Anyway, that's the cash out. Zelle. So there's no excuse to say I can't get change because I can't go to the bank. No going to the bank nowadays. We are in a digital age. Everything is being remotely controlled. You regulate it right on your device. So as time go by, I have a lot of good friends here. It's too soon to start calling in. But when I wait and nobody not doing what they're supposed to do, I know my good friends there. Some of them based in Atlanta, Georgia. Some of them in Iowa. Some of them in Minnesota and all of that. Then we'll start calling the first name. We'll call the first name when the first name can't hold. Then we'll call the last name. Then we'll call the telephone number. Then we'll call them where they are coming from. Yeah, so yeah, and that's why, look, folks, honestly, the reason this country here, you see why it is here, is people give. You don't, I don't have to be part of your party. I don't have to believe in your political ideology before you can give. And the reason we can't give and the reason we can't get the news that we should be getting in life, because the journalists, I've been there, I've seen that, I have given to most of our colleagues left going to press briefing. Some people, some of those guys, in as much we can bash them, but we must also look at the other side of the coin. Because of this profession, my professor said, you want to get rich, don't be part of it, because that's not what's going to make you rich. Especially in Africa, in the Western world, okay, they will value your talent and you will be paid what you are doing. But think about a girl or a boy or a man walking from, what they call Cinco or sometimes Oro, Cardinalsville, manage to get on Keke or buy and then stop them to Jarata and then walk, go down to Ministry of Information or go there to go fetch some sort of news. Tell me, if that guy sees something that needs to be reported to the public, and this person that he or she meet get the financial power, what do you think going to happen? That story will not come off the shelf. That story will die premature death because he left his family back home and he going back the next day. That's not a one day. You eat today and you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's be real. Poverty is what defines and compromises our dignity. And these are stuff we need to address. And like this guy, Mike, 13 years, professional to journalist. He has gone through a lot of trainings, capable of anybody hiring to do anything. But he said, you know what? I want to be on the right side of history. Yes, I need money. Yes, I will have to get money to survive. But I strongly believe one of these days we'll get to the finishing line. And I strongly believe what we are doing is authentic. We are not for, we are not against. And that's not the role of the media to be against government, to fight with government, or to say that we are just a conduit between the government and the citizenry to pass on information. Should be done fairly, proportionally. Give everybody the equal responsibility. Don't just break news because people love something to be broken. Hear both sides. Reach out. And there are so many ways that journalists to reach out to people. You can do a text, you can do an email, you can do a phone call. Don't hear something about Dwalo and then oh, they say Dwalo, this is what Dwalo did. Without you even placing the phone call, if you don't even know his number, his email address, somebody somehow, somewhere connected. I am trying to reach to this person here in order to validate the information. This is not what is happening in our country. This is why we see all these crap going on, and people are going helter scatter. People are confused because anybody wake up any morning, throw their boot mobile, cricket mobile, light mobile, throw it out, breaking news. Because he or she does not like the president, they do not like Joseph Boyka, they do not like Alexander Comey. They feel in their own world, in their own comfort, how it should be, ignorant all rules of the games, and it is crazy. This is the challenge that we have. We are fighting this. We are fighting people to make sure, fighting them in the sense that we are responsible to provide information with people to make sure that they are informed and be able to, because the information that we will provide, if it is done in an honest fashion, without putting our own personal feelings, and that's the thing that is happening. That's why you see the society going the way it's going. You only talk about your feelings when it's about your house. But when you are talking about the Republic of Liberia, that not mean. And we need to understand that. I think the how is supposed to be. Well, if you think it that way, that's not what the rules say. That's not what the Constitution say. That's not the procedures that were put in place to guide the process. I think. No. Like the people say, circumstantial evidence. It doesn't have a case in court. Well, one of the funniest and community leaders who was involved in multitudes of community law. You know, there are some people. Why do you think these great men and women who are analysts coming on this network? It's a unique way of giving back to their country. Technically, and in real time, we're supposed to pay them for their expertise. Coming here 2 hours, 4, 3, 5 times a day. We're supposed to pay them. Instead, they are given to this network to do what we are doing. That's the amazing part of it. That's why we are not in competition with people. We are in competitions with quality production, fair, balanced, and objective news content. I am Afonso Zienso. Let's take a quick commercial break. A group of Liberians meeting this weekend in Phillyland. Let's take this, and then I'm going to be bringing our senior analyst standing by here. Let's take this, and I'll be right back.
USA, Philadelphia, here we come. June 8th to the 11th. The city of Philadelphia will be in action. Citizens from cross country of the second community will be converging. Coming with this special announcement is the President, Madam President, Maybe Brilliant. Your people, your president. Let's listen.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Mabel Billian. I'm the president for the single community in America. I'm doing a video calling on all single people in America to come to our convention. Our convention will be in Philadelphia from the 8th of June to the 11th. Come and let us discuss our community. I'm also calling on all Liberian organizations in America to come and support us. To all my SAPO people and SAPO organizations, come and support us. Thank you. Hope to see you in Philadelphia. I was young for a the mother would like more, me brilliant. What was your place at the Kibli? The video land while I am that's your club when I'm Kibli. I thought we buy the Philadelphia. It's like June, we met and we were more way up with your dribble. I didn't nice young people. I did the I know the senior blubberco. And I do I said that we buy and I said didn't want belly. So I'm down when I that we buy nice young people. I'm poor at all. Now I born in the Philadelphia.
Okay, there you have it. Maybe Billian is the president of the group calling itself Sikkim Community. It's a group of Liberians, everywhere, put together to they are trying to do to their community. So cement government's initiative. Okay, Dr. George Toto is standing by in Pittsburgh, right here in the USA. Let me just bring in the rest of the folks going to be joining us here, and we'll be having a conversation. All right, Dad, good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, Alfonso.
Okay, how you doing today? How is it? How is the weather on your end there? Our weather some kind of way here since yesterday. I don't know.
The weather is not good, but kind of be taking only
America been too high. One day is some kind of it's crazy. It's some kind of way. Okay, what about the situation? We still wanted to come, so we are here. So we thank God that we are here. We are putting food on the table of our people as well. Thank you so much for being here. And I know returning, you got to catch up with your students and organize yourself out of that. And we do understand, people have stuff to do, but it's a full commitment, and I would really, really appreciate your expertise. How are you been? How has it been since you returned?
Yeah, things have been okay so far. You know, been so busy at the post on them also together. You know,
Okay.
especially white and other family affair, other stuff. But other than that, man, things have been pretty well. You know, and then also to
So how is the politics war? Y'all guy, what's going on? How is the broom? The broom that said the straw running, the straw running out. What happening? No bell to hold a center part?
you know, the broom is still talking that putting yourself to do some good, sweeping. You know, to try to sweep out of
Mr.
corruption.
Colin, thank you so much for joining Colin from
Yeah,
Philly. Yeah.
put yourself together,
So,
but to be frank, for what I saw in Liberia, for the past few times I was there, looking at the politics in Liberia, and the political playing field, drawing closer, 4 months from that, and looking at what on the ground, you know, in terms of who already make up people that can break through in the election of Liberia. For me, my own personal analysis, I have drawn it down to two important candidates in the race. Yeah, I narrowed down my search.
after applying your elimination process, you
Yeah,
have come to a conclusion.
yeah. I narrowed down my search to two candidates, even though I still support, my candidates.
Okay, don't break down how you narrow that process. That's quite interesting. I've never heard this, and and I like people to be honest. And we're going to open the lines up here as well. The parties, they are so much, they are so plenty, but now, what was the measurement? What was the yardstick used to say, you know what? The thing here, I just got to string it down to two. How? How you got to that point? What was
Yep.
the convincing thing?
Look at what I did was looking at first of all look at the demographic.
Hey, Helen Mansai, welcome.
Yeah,
The demographic.
look at the demographic of the major political bloc, especially the major area like Mosserado County, Lima County, one County, Norfolk County, Magibie County, or even as a Basso. Those are the major or fighting area in terms of who can afford to the places. If you look at my analysis, what I saw in the places, just by doing some random polling among citizens that reside in the area, you know, you see where they are leading. You know, in terms of the two candidates that I based my analysis on. You know, even though other people were part of my were part of my polling, but at the end of the day, you have to draw your conclusion. And there where I think most of the voters are leading. You know, when it comes to the heavy political or fight area like Mosserado County or Lima County. You know,
Okay, and we'll start getting some. You listen to the provisional, what they call the internet briefing here. So, you narrowed down. Are you ready for us to start going through the process? Take a button to top. What the two political parties are? Is
oh
that
yeah,
something
okay.
new?
I mean, my 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 analysis is that, I want to make it clear here to the one who beat disclaimer. It is not scientific. It is just my own personal view
Right.
from what I was there in Liberia, but also my Liberalization. Also, these are why my Liberia t-shirt to die. So let me just make that clear. My Liberalization. So my analysis is based upon my own fast funding that I conducted
Okay.
in Liberia.
Yeah, we hold people accountable. We ourselves, as we provide information, we must be accountable of these information that we provide. Now, you talk to people regarding you were able to do some sampling method to talk to people what they think, what they feel, and what are they considering, how they got to those points based on what you are concluding. You
Yeah,
talk to people.
the evidence of like, for example, in the Mosrado County before I went up country, like in the Mosrado County, that's in the Monrovia area, one of the most populated most populated city in Moscow County. You know, a very huge population, a huge registration of voters. If I ask or two or three voters in the answer, I said, oh, if election were held today, we think when we are out there, our calling and the full candidate.
Let me hold you right there. That is the question that is troubling to me, because we are not opening the eyes of the people, and that's why some of these networks and they have their own style doing who will win today. We're not asking these people the basis of their vote. What are they voting for? What are they considering here? I think that's a system we need to kind of introduce.
So definitely, so that's why even though I asked the election were held today, but you
God, yeah, there we go tonight.
Even though they were asked if election were held today, but also they asked some of the question, who are you voting for? Why you want to vote? Why your vote is very important to you?
Okay.
You know, so
the liberal is pinching me here crazy based on where he's talking, and he knows where you're going. So the liberal progressive is here. The conversation is about to get a little convoluted and sort of, I don't know how it's going to go. As usual, when he comes, he has his own way of doing things. Even though I'm sitting in for him today, but I am in charge. And I want to let him know. Let me bring in the liberal progressive from Sacktown, Sacramento, California. The liberal, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Sowen. Thank you very much. Doc, good evening to you as well.
Yeah, good evening, bro. You know.
Okay, carry on.
And then also to what I want to make clear was my fast forwarding analysis was based upon when Alexander Comey has not had a running mate.
Okay, that's a good component. So,
yeah, so Alexander Comey was not yet a running mate, but Ambassador Joseph Boyka as an answer running mate, and what do you want to do?
By the time you call Comey, another
so
for that.
So most of the time, when I ask people to say about the election, most people tell me say Ambassador Boyka or President Weah. Those are the two heavy names.
Ambassador Boyka, President Weah.
Already training, making heavy heavy. Even I was sort of called about who killing that support team or government to say,
let's scratch your head.
Yeah, they say, who are there? You know. So,
oh boy.
I will ask whoever the Zana Comey to say, oh, the Zana Comey, you know, just because that CPP breakaway, you know, that they had, you know, I don't know, he's not a fault for the breakaway with the CPP, but the negative implication also has a profound effect on him. You know, that's why GMP.
Okay. We are in the crowd of you. We're going to come back to your point. The man from the far right, Atlanta, Georgia, who is a strong supporter of Alexander Benedict Cummings. You heard what Dr. Toto is saying. I didn't say it. He say when the talk about Cummings, he say, oh, that man with nothing. I don't know, but that his view, that his opinion. Oh, are Cummings calling you? You gotta get something. Okay. The liberal, while he is trying to, George, good evening, welcome. The liberal progressive.
Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, Mr. George. Welcome. The liberal.
Yes. So
good evening. You heard Dr. Toto is saying, apparently from his own analysis, and he made that crystal clear. That's his own view, that his own sampling data based on the information that he got. Your guy is in the fries, Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka is in the fries. But perhaps we can expand on it and do a process of elimination in our own way. And I hope if our guy is okay for us to do something in collaboration with us, we need to introduce in the minds of our people what are the factors they are considering to vote. I know it's not there. Some people made that amount 4-6 months ago before somebody even became a candidate. And that is just bad. It's not good for the country. We need to ask them, what are you considering for which you want to re-elect President Weah? Why are you considering because you want to vote for Boyka, Cummings, Gonglo, and all of the people that are participating? We're going to come to but let's talk about.
Let me just state before the Liberal coming up the phone. So, normally Normally, if you are conducting a pool, whether it's or scientific pooling or just random pooling, even though the point you raise now we should ask the two question, but not necessary. Nobody just want to just go make it short and simple. Why you voting? We going to vote for yes or no or this. That's how you got to get it. But if you try to make it in more professional form, those individuals,
Is it a bad thing to make it professional?
it's good. That is good, but
Suppose we ask the people economy, education, health, maybe narrow it down to 3 basic things, not to get your mind crowded.
That's also part of the photo education process, which we can also embark on. We
need to, we got to do that. And that's what I want to. I want to get much deeper into the minds of the people. Is it because of somebody's first name and last name, or is it because somebody gave misinformation or specific people for which these people are being today? That stigma is there, and they can't undo it. And that's part of their inability to wage effective public relations ability on these people. Deliberate. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I am in charge, and when someone is in charge, what is that?
Don't worry, I'm not ready to pull one of those. What's his name? Tucker Carlson on you yet? Don't worry about it.
But Lebron,
yeah.
Alfonso, how you did yesterday? Didn't show us, so you shouldn't blame you.
So that was my day yesterday.
Oh, okay. So you have both days.
Yeah.
That's a total. You want to ring with Libra? Alligator?
So Libra can be sometimes. I like his style or talking. You talk about politics.
Yeah, no, Mr. So the two things I want to talk about here right immediately out of the gate. And one is we all know this, and people that I talk with, and in fact, I was on the phone with one of my friends in Liberia a few minutes ago, and everyone you talk to, Ambassador Barker's name is on their mouth, and that's what they talk about, him and President Weah. But I hope, and I hope that these people do not take this and become complacent, or even become so bolden to the fact to say, well, we got it on the bag already. Why do we need to do that? They will be surprised. President Weah is still standing tall. And as I always explain here, you cannot beat CDC by 10 points and expect you're gonna get the power. It's not happening. If you want to get power in the Republic of Liberia, you have to beat CDC massively, where they have no other choice but to accept. 10 points is not good enough. And so if Ambassador Bakar and his people will try to be complacent and then say, oh, well, just no big deal. We got this thing under control. Then I think they're going to have some serious issue. On the other hand, President Weah, there are a lot of people, political parties that were around him, collaborated with him, and he won the election. These political parties are leaving because why? They no longer see a gravy train in President Weah's backyard. And I blame President Weah for that. President Weah, when he came to power, he should have made it clear to all of them. There's no grievance train here. All of you that supported me, and even if you have issues, you got to go and clear yourself. Like, for example, former Speaker Tyler and his party are leaving CDC, they said. So what's his nickname in Liberia? Corruption King Kong. So why would a man like that, and you become a president, and you don't go and take him to the corruption court or whatever it is to clear his name? To clear his name. That has not happened. And now they feel, well, there's no more gravity on our side. We're leaving. And now President, we are going to be standing, and CDC going to be standing alone. And I hope that perhaps whatever little that they have done, President Weah, that is, and CDC, whatever little that they have done, they will be able to stand on it and run on it. But I feel bad for them because their messaging system is weak. and not that they don't have, or not that the message cannot be formulated to suit the interest, but because those who are carrying out the message themselves are not quite into it. So they're just carrying the message. As a result, when they open their mouth, they're not into it. It doesn't come through as being sincere. It doesn't come through as somebody who was really for CDC, but except for 2 cents, 3 cents here and there. So this is going to be interesting, Mr. Soul.
Sadly, this is why you people are not making progress. You took 15 minutes to provide narrative of CDC people leaving this and that, instead of you telling us your guy Joseph Boyka.
So what making you better?
Well, I can be on top cover. It doesn't matter. Do I look at somebody who will go on a cover if I want to do something? I'm just saying this. You guys mistargeting information.
Why would you try to analyze my analysis point?
The reason I'm trying to bring you to baseline, you are not helping Ambassador Boyka.
Well, this is what
anyway, it's not saying you are a Liberty Party person. You are a Liberty Party person. Your party is fragmented, so you are sitting shelter. Let me go to Amos George. I'm going to Amos George. Hold on 1 second. Your party is being fragmented, is in a moderate, and you decided not to go to that place. So you go seeking shelter with Unity Party, and you're not a real Unity Party guy. Amos Joy, let me just bring you here. I don't know whether the Liberal did it on purpose deliberately. You were calling people who want to win and eat on purpose. He didn't even mention your guy. That's another way of provoking you, because he knows you on this network here, and he decided to be very calculated, very strategic. You decide not to call your guy name. So, me, I'm just talking here.
Good evening to all of you. Let me say this with Dr. Toto. The premise which you lay in, I think, is flat. In this country, the diaspora on issue why they're voting for this person. The economy, healthcare, security, education. The diaspora on those issues, conducting poll. The diaspora on those things. Like bro doing there is just making mockery out of a system. To say, oh, you don't need to do that.
Everybody on me, you see, let's see this. Who not want him with president said? That one go ahead of the Chairman Gongrowth strategy. I don't know what happening today, bro. Yeah, we got all the guests on information out here today. 2 of them here. Okay, go ahead. So, Mr. Boyer, good evening. Welcome.
How you doing, everybody? The broom is going strong. We have more straws added to it.
Okay, we're waiting to hear it, because Liberal just dismantled that broom just now before you came. But I will not say it. Amos Joy, go ahead.
Yeah, just to say who you voting for. I mean, come on. Is that a poll that you would take to say, oh, we cannot ask the people on this bread and butter issue, the economy, healthcare, the security, education. We can't ask people on those issues, but just, who is involved?
No, ever George, I think trying to make you try.
Now, just hold on, say you were coming, you were talking. I didn't interrupt you.
You are trying to miss. You are trying to miss too much.
Well, just hold on. You have the time to respond. Begin. I did not interrupt you. So these are issues we should be asking the Liberian people about. Why are you voting for XYZ? Is he strong on security? Is he strong on the economy, healthcare, rural education? These are issues we should be asking our people. But you just go to the market, if election here today, who you vote for? Come on. And let me say this to you again. There are silent voters in that country who don't say anything. People just tell you what you want to hear. So the CDC, the Boyka people must be careful. There are silent voters in that country who will not say anything, or they will tell people what they want to hear.
Who are they for?
Just leave it. Silent voters don't tell you who they are for. We saw it right here. When we had Hillary Clinton, 3 points ahead of Donald Trump. All the polls, Hillary Clinton was leading, all up to the day of the election. By 12 o'clock, things start changing. Some of us start turning out here from the TV. So we have to be careful. As you go, you ask the people in Liberia, you come back, tell us. But I'm just saying, you take precaution. There are silent voters in our country. On the issue of this thing, Mr. Cummings, I think just today, Sharon was announcing that Mr. Cummings said within the first 90 days, they're going to make small loan available to market women and Indiana boys in Liberia to strengthen the economy of the country, to help them strengthen the economy of the country. Talking about education, healthcare, on a tour for the Baga people, it's in the basket. They don't have to go anywhere. They decided when Mr. Toto is locked up, sitting down waiting for them. But we, as the CPP, we continue to engage the Liberian people. And we definitely, this election, the CPP will win.
Okay. Silent voter. So you don't know who the silent voter for. After the ballot, after they cast the ballot, then we know where they are.
Did we know the silent voters here when people are telling us Hillary Clinton 4 points ahead? We didn't know them. And all the polls here carry Hillary Clinton 4 points, 3 points up to the election.
Can I make a mathematical correction to my baby claim that it was because of the silent voter that the polls came up wrong? The polls came up wrong because statistically the way the question was asked was flawed. So they have flawed data.
I didn't say it was wrong. I didn't say it was wrong.
No, not because of silent voters. The data was flawed because the way the question was asked was biased. It was not because of silent voter.
So statistically,
the data was flawed. It was not because of silent voters.
That's the point I wanted to cut or Able George when I'm making my point. Even I told Alfonso, I said that when we are conducting this poll, these questions are necessary, but we have to do voter education to provide to the people. And then you take sample of some of the questions and ask the people. But normally you just go ask randomly and ask few questions. That's how I'm talking. I did not say that.
I have one question. When you who will you vote for? That's all.
If other people are doing it, but I'll be Able George. I did my own differently. I engaged the process. I went in 3 different countries, and I met 4 there, and I have engagement with them. That based upon.
I hope. I think
the engagement you have with them on the economic, healthcare, security. What do you discuss? Is that why you based on your judgment?
Everything was discussed, and your mate is not coming. You were not here. And I said, at that time, it was that time. And I come here, and I need sharing bros in here as a PP.
Yeah, man, I'll help you out a hell of a people.
Why you wouldn't bring sample of tape so we can see you conducting that engagement?
Hello, guys. What the man give me here? Because the man, you know that what take it easy.
I said, you see now, don't mess with. I said
the 2 minutes of Mr. So then I handle the problem.
I said no, but I was there. I said, but why you going to do a review? You see that? That's a professor, and he went there to engage the people. So I mean, you have brought samples to us, so we can see it.
I can show you the sample. I'll give the sample. I'll send the sample to you.
Remember, Pa George is a former cop, so he
Say, don't go there with me tonight. Say, I beg you. You don't got no vote. Don't talk about matter.
Wow. We get problem in our country. It will not, any kind of government account there that hala. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Folks, that's the interaction. So we don't leave voices behind. People here to express their views and their opinions on issues. Legendary Sister Goyat, good evening, welcome.
How you doing, folks? Hey,
did I hear you saying?
You came back from Liberia, man.
Did I hear you saying the broom is growing much bigger and bigger?
You know how our woman can start with small brooms on time and then be fine brooms till they get adding it to the broom, keep retying it before they get big broom. That's how we're doing anything, man. Our broom is growing gradually. We keep finding straws and adding them.
So again,
what on the vice president? Where is the counselor? Is he still here?
The counselor is in Liberia. He's engaging with the people that matter, and those are the people in the villages, in the hinterlands, those people who have been forgotten and disenfranchised, and those people who have been made to feel less of a Liberian and have not had a share of the national pie. He's reaching out to them, letting them know that their constitutional rights have been abused for a long time, and this is the time that they show their might. Like the Reverend Senator Warnock said, this is your vote, is your faith and your prayer. And so when you cast that and give somebody power of attorney over you, make sure you do due diligence. And that's what he's telling the Liberian people. So all the people doing maneuver, he's in the hinterland, in the countryside, letting the Liberian people know that hope and help is on the way.
Okay, but let me just get a take here. You are in the bear with the inner ward of Councilor Tiawonse Gongo. Is he or will he participate in this process as a presidential candidate, as far as you are concerned?
As far as I'm concerned, absolutely yes. Councilor Tiawonse Gongo is going to be a presidential candidate. And he's not just going to be any presidential candidate. He is going to surprise a lot of people because people, here's the thing. Gonglo talked about, and I think Pa George and my brother Dr. Tutu alluded to this thing a little bit. People talk about elections and electors as if to say they have their votes just keeping it in the freezer. The people that voted for Bwaka last time, they keep it in the freezer. The 7%, Mr. Cummings, are in the freezer, so you can't get more than 7% anymore. And I think that is a fallacy, right? We are tired of these two political parties using the Liberian people like table tennis, back one as that one, we tired of that table tennis thing. We're changing the game, and the way we change the game is to expand the electorates. Those people who have not been voting, I think Pa George tried to refer to them, but he said they are silent. It is those forgotten voters, bringing new voters into play. Our older people who have felt that the people thing will leave it with them. Trying to let them know that it is not the people thing, it is your thing. And that is where people are going to be surprised. So to answer your question, absolutely yes. Councilor Tiawonse Gongo and the Broom will be on the ballot. He will be running as a presidential candidate. And he will not just be a candidate, he will be a contender.
Meaning he's getting closer to the point where he's going to have his pick.
Oh, Broom 2 coming. Don't worry. Sweeper 1, Sweeper 2 coming.
Oh, they are on a call. Super.
When the people finish rescue, then they face the thing when they rescue, then we sweep the day away.
yeah, that guy, as well as go. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, let's talk of the more.
They can hold me with politics. I haven't speak to you, sir. I ain't doing the liberal.
The liberal is not happy with you right now because you talk about sweeping your day. But let's talk about recent development. I know some of us will listen, if not all in details. One of the hitch has been with the censor, the voter registrations. NEC now came up with their briefing. And let's see. Let's have a conversation a little bit about what you gather from that press conference and what you sense out with respect to, because some of the figures that are coming now has been projected. Oh, the number coming from the side is this. That seems not to be the case for me, because the process is still being scrutinized, and it's an ongoing process until everything is being. There's a consistency, seeing people registering with a significant number of people under age and all of that. Let's talk about it a little bit here, and then we can bring in other stuff here. The Liberal.
Yes.
You had a chance to listen to NEC briefing?
No, that Tabata really didn't pay attention to it.
You didn't pay attention to it?
Because I felt it was a Tabata that I have no interest in it, because these people, they better make sure. A few days ago, they said they have over 500 registered voter online. Now today they're telling us that they have purged over 27,000, 500,000, and now they're saying they purged over 27,000 voter who did not do due diligence for themselves. So here's what I'm going to say to these people. Some of us spending high money in our country, building our little zine round and things like that, that they are Tabata, they're starting. They better make sure that when election time comes, that they be fair. They be fair. Because I'm a little zine round, I got over there, anything happen to it, that the time they will see how I come from Totan. That they are stuff, they go in here throwing book this way and that way, instead of them to tell us exactly what they're doing. People pouring money in our country. The young Liberians are investing heavily in our country. People are educating themselves here, preparing the young Liberian, preparing themselves to take leadership in Liberia. And yet still there's one woman 1 minute she this side, the other minute she that side, the other minute she this side. What exactly she's trying to do, I don't understand, and I really don't want to pay attention to her tabata. All I say, the fact that the Liberians are ready and gearing up to vote, they should be on par as well, Mr. Saul.
Well, that's a view, that's an opinion. Dr. Toto, what did you gather from NEC's briefing the other day? You had a chance to listen?
Yeah, I kind of read some of the transcript of what happened there. I got a little bit discouraged, the process, how the process started, where we found ourselves right now. I think that should be a shame to come out to talk to the public because, number one, I don't know what type of treaty they provide to people that will carry on the restoration process. What are some of the mechanisms? What measure they put in place when somebody can stand before how do they detect that person is under age, or that person has reached the age of 15 years or 18 years old to be legally right to register to vote? What are somebody they didn't come out to the public? They put the guidelines out and say these are the guidelines going to follow to detect whether the person don't reach a particular age or not. That thing was done, and they have thousands of people on their list for recruitment. We don't know how the recruitment process went on, and they start dispatching people to carry on this thing. And now they are coming on to tell that they are detected about 5,000 underage voters that the court of the ministry adjusted to join to help to prosecute these people. It just I don't know. It just kind of very discouraging to the process right now. It just showed that how the day of the election how it's going to be put in place. And we know yes, a just a ministry that will have also to when it comes to critical judicial cases in the country, they don't even handle it where they lost most of their cases in court. So I don't know how they're going to play it or to deal with it. And number two, the census report. Before you even keep the census report, there are a lot of criticism, a lot of critical analysis have been placed on the census report, the demographic, they have places that the number rose very high up, and then they come back and say they play less population, there was migration to the place, and how this migration took place. We don't have no correct clue. I don't know how Lasana Commissioner Lasana is ready to carry on this activity to be frank.
Okay. Amos George.
Yes. This blame, they blame, we got plenty of places to share this blame. When there's no system in a country, this is what you have. This is what you will get. Oh, this country, we all know everybody got a driving ID card or state ID card. Once you live here, you reach certain age, you got your state ID card, and you go to register the ID, you present your ID card, they look at your age, and that is it. Our country, we don't have any ID card a complete system. Because if we had those things in place, it would sometimes make it much easier for the election commission. Because if you're a student, supposed to have your student ID card. If you're working, supposed to have a working card. If you are unemployed, have some identity. That will carry a date of birth and something like that. So when you go to the place, you show it, they don't have to go through all that process, but all these things lacking. Now, sometimes you'll see a guy who is 16, 17 years old tall, and the man say, hey, I so. So I saw some of the poll, they had immigration offer, they had people there, but I don't know what was the question here that they were asking these people. That, hey, you this age, yeah, let's see your ID card or some identity, there's nothing, some people don't have no identity. They just want to say, I'm this. And these are challenges facing our country. I have a qualm with the election commission, but these are challenges facing our country. And these things you see how eventually it go into this problem, go into the other issues. Now, she said something that caught my attention that, hey, all these people on the age will ask the Ministry of Justice to help to prosecute these people. But then she said, but depending on the circumstances, no. The election commission made a pronouncement that no underage person should register. If you are underage, you are not allowed to register. You are not allowed to vote. And you go deliberately, intentionally, go and register some way, one way or the other, obtain that voter registration. There should be no excuse. That is a crime you are already committed. You should be person. No but about it. She's talking about, oh, some children are juvenile. Come on, madam. Why would juvenile go to obtain an ID card when he has been informed through the public? Why there should be an excuse for those kind of people? The law should take its course to set precedents.
But do we have juvenile? Juvenile?
She says something like that.
No, I'm asking you, do we have juvenile?
Oh yeah, anybody on the age of
no, the reason I'm asking because
yes.
we don't know the details. So hopefully it's maybe through the investigation how they got to the.
That's what she was saying. I'm just quoting her what some of the things she was saying. And I'm saying there should be no excuse for these people because the law says that if you are not 18, you should not register to vote.
I agree. That is a crime because once you don't reach that required age.
Yeah, you cannot go again to try to find excuse for the people again. Because then, you try to encourage them to go on. Other people will continue to take advantage of it. Point blank, Judge Hassie said, we're not going to add one day to the registration in this area. Perfect. So that's how you say, look, whether you are juvenile, how you are teenager, you will go to the court to explain yourself. The court will make that determination whether you commit a crime or not. As far as we are concerned.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's it.
Let me question since they can probably answer it or even respond. I know people in the 1990 war used to the ID identification card. Are they saying you don't feel like bureau yet?
Yes, they have a whole bureau. They have a whole bureau.
National ID?
Yeah.
National ID card. They have a whole bureau. Right now, they said that they got a whole bureau.
So let me disagree really quickly with a lot of points that has been made here, and I'm not going to be popular here tonight. But I want to set a caveat that a lot of instability, political instability that leads to war and stuff in Africa borders around electoral integrity. I am very cautious. I'm very, very cautious not to start beating the drum of unfair elections just every time there is a misstep by the election commission. I'm really concerned about that because we get to a point where even if our own person win, we've already set the stage for people to say that it was unfair. And that delegitimizes government. And that is very dangerous. That is not to say that election commissions have not had their own fault, but we have to be very careful with the lines we draw on that. Now, having said that, look, in the United States, in this America, voter ID is not requirement, it's not universal. In Minnesota, we don't require you to show ID when you go vote. We don't. In a lot of local states, it is not required. And the reason for that some of us in Democratic Party have fought against a voter ID is because it is financially prohibitive. There are some people who can't afford what you charge for government ID in this country. And so to require citizens to be able to pay money in order to vote, we say it's unconstitutional. That is why we in these liberal states fight against voter ID requirement. And so take that to Liberia. Even if you are charging $10 US for a citizenship ID, a national ID, how many people can afford that? Nobody in my village that I'm coming from is going to pay $10 US to get ID card to vote. It is not going to happen. And I hear my papa George say you can show your student ID. No student ID carry age. So we just show you in 7th grade, in 9th grade. And know some papa then I was old or in 6th grade. I don't know, beginning I was small or in 12th grade. So how do we use that?
But since
on the issue of challenging voter eligibility, where people say, oh, they're in line, say the person look this age. It happens in America. People stay at the pool and they can challenge you as being an eligible voter, as being from the district. And you put that ballot aside, and if somebody can come and vouch, then you count their ballots later. The election commission, my problem is they didn't foresee all of those things and lay out if this happened, then that, if this happened, then that kind of thing. And I think that is what's creating a lot of these situations that is happening here. But I hear my people trying to be zero tolerance for crime in Liberia. And the one place you want to draw the line, that juvenile teenagers who might have gone and gotten registered. And this is the one time we should try them as adults. In this country, there is a thing called, there are things kids do. You look at it and say, are you a juvenile? We might take you to diversion program, to conversion or diversion program. We take you other places because you're a juvenile versus if you're an adult.
Training centers or whatever.
The next piece is, even if we decide to have zero tolerance, how long is it going to be before the people go to court? You know how many cases you got backlog in Liberia? You even finish judging Shalom Musu une case here. The guns that came through the port that
but they did that gun that the government
people children and will go register to go vote, and you find out they're not eligible, and the one who's going to be throwing insult beach that's overcrowded. I think we have to be very, very, careful and about it is a crime. Yeah, and that is why you need to purge voter roll. But when we look at the criminal justice system, we have to be able to try people, charge people according to ages. If they are juvenile, you can't go be judging them like adults.
I said, Jordan, I said the Minister of Justice will make the determination.
But that's what Omar's saying. Omar's saying that they have done their investigation. Somebody put their own age. It's not hard to see that. And she's saying the Minister of Justice will do that. But she's just saying that some of them might be juvenile and some of them might be adults. I don't see anything wrong with her making that statement.
And that's what I was asking the question, are there juvenile in the country? Because even in the great United States here, juvenile offenses are being treated differently than that of adults. And that's why you see most of the people, they get what they call state school training and all of those stuff. There's some part of rehabilitation. So overall, and I've said that I think there is a need that we should have exercise restraints as we move towards this process, and all because of everybody wants to win, which is okay. And part of that was to work with them, because if we can't do it and everybody puts clouds on the process, and tomorrow it turns out that even the opposition win it, will we come back here to say the process was a fraudulent process? We will not say that. We will say, oh, it was anticipated. However, we can challenge the procedures, the processes, and sometimes, if recommendations is required, we can do that. But it's not a surprise for the Liberal to come out here tonight, as usual. He's starting already in his bad mood. He doesn't care because it's avatar.
But that, Joseph Waka got in the freezer, so he doesn't care.
Mr. So, let me just say this here very quickly. Why my brother says saying what I believe to be the truth. However, I want to push back a little bit on that. In that, I'm not saying or suggesting that he's also suggesting that we're beating the war drum here. But here's the thing here about this. Whatever that is happening, the Election Commission had a press conference where they told everyone the issue they were having. Now that becomes record in itself, a historical record in itself. Now, the point here is that we don't even have to say anything about war, which we operate, nothing will happen, such thing won't happen. However, with this kinds of thing I call tabata here, don't you think that after the election and the party like CDC is unsuccessful and they got beat by what? 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. Do you not think that CDC will go back to this particular documents and this file to say the Election Commission admitted to us that they had underage people registered to vote? How sure are we, they might argue, that the Election Commission was able to clean out the system, forgetting to know that they were in charge of making sure that their system put in place? But they can argue that. So my point here is not so much of saying these people are doing wrong, but before you come out to make these kinds of public announcements, think about the future. think about what this public announcement I'm making here, who's going to utilize it in the future, and how is it going to be used against us in the future? But they're not thinking about that.
No.
No. You see, this is why you.
Look, I don't want to get in my mood and put you in the central line of the basket.
I don't know why, but you agree with him when you're trying to.
There was a point he made about the election commission not being far-sighted. I agree with that.
Let me make my point. I don't want to put two of you in a basket of deplorable here this evening, because you guys are getting very close to that. You and the central right, Amos George and Mr. So are getting close to the basket of deplorable this afternoon. If you continue to interrupt the liberal, when the liberal Mr. Central right, the liberal is on the floor. The liberal is on the floor. So I don't want to put you guys in fact, I think this is my show, and I will pack both of you in a bike immediately. So let me make my point. Anyhow, let's come back to this. No, on a very serious note. So when you come out to make these kinds of statements, you are running you at the election commissioners. People are looking up to you. The election, the election issue in Liberia. And then you're going to come and have this kinds of press conference, which is good. But now to tell us children under age have registered. Now, were you able to purge all of those under age registered children off of the list? She didn't say that. They just gave us the numbers. How are we sure to be sure that the number you gave us match the exact number that you purged out? And now you're recommending prosecution and what have you, which is fine. I don't mind that. But I'm saying you can't do this and expect to go unscathed. And this is what I come from this afternoon, Mr.
No,
okay. Guys, let me
I 1 year with LPR background, so you might allow me to speak more than other people in here, because that's loyalty.
LPR background.
Guys, hold on. Once let Koto is on the line. Let's hear from her. Then Koto, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, Mr.
Well, Koto, why we can't see you anymore? You want to be on phone analyst now?
I always go on Friday and
That sister now.
We'll soon call your phone analyst.
I want to say hi. I just admire the way you guys are handling issue. But my point is, with the youth that they said or ticket and the notice were on the voter roll, they're going to the Party going to make sure that they follow up that case, because it was the Unity Party that with a blow on that, and I'm going to think that they're going to make sure that they take those involved in that for registration to get them off the road. Okay, another point I have to say is that Mr. George and then my own brother says they are concerned about the silent voters. My concern is I don't the silent voters are only there for ANC and the whole government. The silent voters are not there for we or Omar Baka or the rest of the campus. Because it is keep taking silent voters. And then when I said earlier that even if it was measuring concerning the broom, the longer you use the broom, the thinner it becomes. All of the straws drop out. So that's happening right now. The straws are really dropping off there. I don't know why they have to go and pick a new broom, and in picking a new broom, we've been going forward. So that's just what I want to know. I thank you guys so much. Anything else, I will be coming back to.
Please stay on so you can hear my response. Becky, you don't run away. Let me get some of the broom straw and sweep on the Omen Bucket 444 now. But I will use some. That way.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Or say analysis about voter process in America also too, because I think we owe it to our people too. We're talking to them about states that don't require ID to vote. We have almost 8 places that require ID. But states that don't require ID to vote are sure they have some mechanism put in process. That you don't just walk in because you don't have ID, just go vote. Just
yeah, you just walk in and vote. In Minnesota, you just walk in and vote.
They have some mechanism put in process to detect any fraud or people don't have ID. They have address.
I don't even show my address. Oh, I go there and say my name.
Yeah, but
I say my name. I don't even show my address.
You already have you already in the system. So
but that's what I'm saying. So don't rebut that. Say there is the voter ID. There's no voter ID. I go there. So my system go
yeah, I'm saying what is no voter ID, but they have a system in place already to detect who is citizens where or not. But where in Liberia, the system in Liberia is different from carry on the registration process in Liberia. People just wear and register to vote just by their height or by their body. They just look at it. They say, okay, you fall with the age category. And that comes from no fraud or what detected.
Okay, so I listened to the liberal analysis here, and I have my own version about why the commission coming out talking about juvenile register. So liberal, a little bit here. Are you saying it will be preferable for the commissioners or the commission to uphold to withhold information from the public when they are briefing and just give it on the surface like that? What is the commission exposing you think about? What is the danger that is in it?
No, I mean I'm not questioning the process at all. What I am questioning, first of all, they are not credible. They've been having issues from day one. So for now to come out now to want to establish credibility among themselves is very much disappointing, so to speak. But yes, the issue that I'm making, Mr. So, you come out to make this thing public, which is okay. That's fine. When you do this, tell us exactly how did you purge those who were underage? What mechanism that you use? What are the processes that was involved? And were you successful in purging all of the underage that you suspected or find out? Number one. How were these underage people were first of all able to penetrate your system to register in the first place? In other words, in order for them to do that, you have nothing in place to detect fraud or to detect age fraud. As a result, these young people underage were able to penetrate your system. That means your system is weak.
Look. Are you saying the system? Let's come home here a little bit. We got to give a breathing room to have honest conversations and find resolution to these problems. Are you saying the entire electoral process in this country is free and fair, is transparent? There's no weak system. People don't penetrate.
Well, here in the United States, for example, because there have been one or two where people were. There have been somewhere where they would say one or two person was able to penetrate. That's I mean, you go, how many people in America that are voting? Millions. And you have maybe 30, 40 people, Mr. So no system is perfect. So, but that's not even the issue. But for you to tell us you have over 500 people, 500,000 people registered, and out of that, you're telling us a huge number of them, 27 or so of them were underage. 27,000 were underage. So then the first question is, how were they able to penetrate that? For the 27,000 young people who were not supposed to register were able to register. That is the system that is failing, number one. Second, you need to now come out and say, look, this is what we put in place, and this is how they got cut. Even if you don't diverge the whole thing because you say, well, I'm the security, whatever, that's fine. But then now the most important one for me is to tell me now, we purge all of these people. There's no one else on this list that we have has been the legitimate registered voters that we have. No one among them that is underage. That statement was not made.
Well, but also remember, she did mention as well the system that they were using. I don't think it will even, you can't just unleash everything out there to disclose all what you are doing. But I think the system, from what she was saying, from what I gathered, even the statement, the system that they were using to detect this is still an ongoing process, and that's why I don't think I would have had a problem if all of these things were withheld and only to find out at the end of the day that there's X number of people. Then the question will become why you did not tell us when you were providing the information.
Did she say then that rest assured, Liberians, rest assured that this particular incident will not happen anymore?
That's into the yesterday with my press conference.
Hold on.
No, he said what Tabata. So
I didn't hear it's a Tabata. So okay, but I didn't hear that part. Number one. Second one. If she didn't reassure Liberian that this will not happen anymore, that's fine. Maybe they have that closed already. But the most important one, to say these are the people that was on there illegally registered. We have removed their name. And as far as we're concerned, the final list we have does not have any more underage voters. When you said that, you closed the door for future argument. That was not said.
I think you're getting it wrong.
That was not part of the conversation.
How would they close the door when the process is ongoing? When they are telling
no, you're not listening. You're not listening. You're
not listening because you first started off here.
You're not listening. Let me make that point again. If in the press conference, they said they have X number of underage voters that they have discovered. Fine. Now, if you have 10 and you discover 5, that means you have 5 legitimate remaining. Was a statement made to say, rest assured, or these 5 we have, among these 5, there are no more underage registered voters.
She made something in that direction. She made something in that direction. That was actually, did you listen to the press conference? But you say, well, Tabata, so you didn't.
What's something she made in that direction?
Okay, listen.
You're not a lawyer.
No. Not a lawyer.
You want to go to court and say, oh, the woman made something in that direction?
You're not helping the system.
Okay.
You are not helping the system.
I'm just telling you what will happen tomorrow.
No,
you think CDC are not watching these things?
No,
you CDC with will come back with these kinds of arguments.
No,
okay, that's my point. That's my view.
That's your view. But let me tell you,
I'm entitled to it.
That's why I say
very bad view for the country.
Let me tell you something.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you characterize it. I'm entitled to it.
Let me tell you something.
And I know the people, the audience out there right now, they love my view. They love me.
Just get people
you know that.
Let me tell you something. I don't want you to consistent to be this strong. Election will not be fair. The system is not 100% perfect.
Did I say election is not going to be fair?
You insinuated something. Talking about CDC will come out this one. That's what you're saying. Now that's why I'm pushing back on you. The system is not 100%. Here in Georgia, they demand ID card, but here, boss said there are cracks. People go through the cracks in Georgia. That's why we all that. What I'm trying to tell you here is that the letter said, after she made that statement, she said, we are still in the process of scrutinizing. We are still in the process. Now, political parties got a part to play. They're also supposed to be on the election to make sure that the roster is clean. So you can't just come and say, she didn't tell you where we are. She didn't say it was completed. She said the process continues and will keep the public updated.
He wants his word that pleases him to be used.
And because you're talking about CDC, supposedly, no. CDC, if she has said that this is the final roster, this is what we have, 2.5 million people, those are the people we expect to vote. And this is the final. Then, and they didn't correct those things, you can come back to say that. But the process is not yet completed. So you can't start on CDC will come and tomorrow to use this. No. If it is not completed, then CDC can come back to say, oh no, they said that, but they didn't complete it. So therefore, we have a quorum. The letter is in process, so that will continue to answer.
The guy is wasting our time here, and
The system again is not perfect. I criticize the other Brown, but hey,
Mr. Mr. George, Mr. Sosa, you're wasting his time.
I'm talking to you.
He didn't say so. You coming back, and I continue to push back. This election will not be fair. No, we have to try to work.
So let's make progress here. So guys,
cannot start beating the drum. Then tomorrow they say we're not fair. Then people start running around because we
he didn't listen to A. He said it was Tabata. He didn't listen. So where is he coming from with all the conspiracy and makeup story here? He housing total. Who cares? What we gotta do with that?
So my last point on this thing is, we're asking people to take national ID in a country that people can't afford to feed themselves. I think it is not democracy. To require that is to try to disenfranchise a lot of people. And my brother, Dr. Tutu, in Pennsylvania, the only people that are required by law to show voter IDs are first-time voters. If you voted before, you are not required. If you want to show it, that's on you. There are so many states in the United States, Minnesota, Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Maine, that don't require any voter ID, any ID whatsoever. In other states like North Dakota, even the conservative state of North Dakota, they require non-photo ID, which means I can just show letter that came to me from my house. That's a non-photo ID. In places like Wyoming and Colorado and Iowa, even Arizona does not require, it requires non-photo ID. So let's be very careful when we try to take these American systems and taking it back home. When in fact, even in America, there's a lot of states that don't even ask you for photo ID because they know that it's cost prohibitive, and to put a cost on somebody to exercise their democratic franchise ought to be illegal, and that's why most of these states don't require that. So to tell our people that they need to have some ID that they have to pay for in order for them to vote, I think it's unfair. There is a lot of ways we can fix the electoral process in Liberia without putting financial burden on our people to vote.
You don't watching the electoral process in Liberia. Don't compare the American system with the Liberian system.
But y'all don't want to bring it up. Y'all don't want to say the woman have voter ID. Y'all don't want to say the woman have voter ID.
You register to vote in Liberia first, when they give you ID, right? If you register to vote in Liberia, they give you ID. You don't register, you walk away.
They give you right. So when people, but the point here, Dr. Toto, the point here is you're talking about underage voters, and you say the point you don't have somebody said people have.
We said that you post it in place to be able to detect it.
That's the point I'm making. But when you say that people should have citizenship ID, which is not free, then that's
ask the question whether they were still doing citizenship.
Even before you ask that question, that option already on the floor here that the people should be required to show ID, which is not free, by the way.
Okay, let's go to one of our callers. Dr. Toto, go ahead and we'll go to a caller on the line.
The question I'm going to raise, even those states that require ID to vote Liberia, the point I made, they still have certain process to detect who is on that particular person. You say go here in Minnesota, you walk down the voting pool, you don't show ID, you vote because they know who says go here is.
They don't know me. The election judges don't know me.
All talk that
the election judges.
Okay, let's go, guys. Let's go. I think the
database that have every registration, everybody in the country.
All right. Let's go to the phone lines. And I think one good thing about the press briefing too, they said about, the people that register to get phone numbers, right? Even though everybody don't use their phone numbers, so they would know there are other people who took people's phone numbers, like teenagers, older people. So they are putting a lot of mechanism in place to track the system.
When you register here with an address, they can check.
Exactly. And that's what the commission said they're going to use. For the Liberal to come here this evening, who doesn't listen to the thing and can't bring his tabata and telling us that the people are talking, you are putting your foot in your mouth this evening here. Let me tell you right now. Let's go to this phone number here. Are you there? I think he's turning around this evening instead of CDC, he the Liberal boy for Eleanor. This guy put his foot in his mouth this evening because he didn't listen and he can't make it. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I want to agree with the doctor in there concerning people having some level of document to prove that they are Liberians or that they are qualified to vote. There must be some identification. Our city is saying that because it happened in America, so technology that works. Liberia do not have technology. So if you cannot be identified by an ID, it's good that you have somebody in the community that will identify that you are a Liberian and you come from so and so place. But you cannot just walk up to a voting precinct and go to register, without any information about you. I think that is one of the reasons why these registrations will always have discrepancies, a lot of discrepancies that will lead.
You got to mute your phone. Somebody on the phone. Well, you got to mute your line until I come to you. Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, because I'm hearing myself. So, yeah, so, that is what it is. So it's going to be very, very bad if we say that we're not going to have anybody at all, any system into place to identify these voters. So I think let's need to come up with a strategy where they will have a system to monitor those who come in and go out their ages on an identification, part. So it will be easier for us.
So how do you think that, what was the method used to determine that these people were underage people? Do you think there was no system in place for which they came up with those numbers?
Well, I think that there was a system into place, but it was overlooked because it could be some level of bribery or so. Because how did they register these people and afterwards identify them to be underage?
Guy, you're talking thing here like everything is just like
people doing prostitute. People doing prostitute.
I don't think it's not fair though. It's not fair. Every system here is being every system, even among ourselves. Somebody there will always try to corrupt the system, and at the end, I think what is important for them to catch this stuff here, to say, hey, these are the people. And they also realize an alleged crime is being committed. So they will turn them over to the rightful people. But if they are just left it like that, and for us to come and only little to know it, then of course, I think that would be a red flag.
But Mr. Tru, can I ask you a question?
I am asking the question.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. I am the interviewer now, unless you want to turn around to be this, and I don't something to for you to come to join my show, and then you want to turn my show around to agree with you. So let me ask you the question now, Terry, before I bring in the next person. We had a conversation. Okay. Let's in the interest of the country, we listen to the press briefing. We might not get all that we want to get. But what did you gather? Was there any attempt to kind of like give this process a different look? It's too soon to render judgment. They said the process is ongoing. We're going to see the last and final phase as they try to, as they scrutinize this thing. I mean, they're trying to root out all of these false stuff and telling people to go to the polling centers to make sure their names and everything intact. You listen to the conference. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think they're trying to be so transparent. I'm not giving credit. But the problem is, those who register these people, will there be any investigation? That's my question. Because if you say these people were registered and you have caught them, that these people were registered, they were underage, they were this, they were that. Who registered them? Will these people who register these people be investigated for us to also know how these people came into the system?
Well, but I think, Terry, the letter said that they're going to be turned over to the Election Commission does not have the constitutional power to investigate people. That's why she said they're going to be turned over to the Ministry of Justice. It is the Ministry of Justice will determine whether there's a crime is being committed. But in as much we know for now that these people are juvenile according to the Election Commission and they are underage people, then that's a serious concern. So I think they have done a little bit, and we should, say.
Yeah, like I said, I give credit to them for coming up to, a certain level of transparency.
But you put it acid water in the credit, and when anybody drink it, they're going to somebody die. So then what you say?
But okay. I will not give them 100%, Mr. Su.
I know. Okay. All right. But okay, thank you so much. Let's go to the next caller here. Yeah, Koto, are you there? Alvin Penner here is tweeting. Alvin Penner, Mr. Penner is in the race. Is contesting. Hold on one second. Is contesting. He said, and he wrote specifically here. He said, "What voter registration in Liberia did not require such. I believe that's a voter card. We will make time to have Alvin here. He's also contesting one of the districts. We'll reach out here. Koto, go ahead quickly, and they will come to the. Go ahead. Let me put the other person on.
Yeah. Am I there?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Excuse me. I want to differ a little bit where my brother sister is there. He talks about, the comparison of voters status in the state as compared to what you do back there. If you see that people are not shown ID, there is another means of investigation with those that will be going there to register ID. You have a system here that you won't be even questioned about your social security, your date of birth, and all of these things are in a system. If you don't have a voter ID, it will trace you by your social security number. So that is why we cannot compare the system here as to that of the system in Liberia.
So how sure are you that they were not questioned too?
Well, you don't have that system set up there. So how will you question people based on that?
Well, how do you know?
But again, like what the caller, the previous caller said, those that registered, those same age or juvenile should be held responsible. Because I believe they saw that as teenager and register them.
Should we also take into consideration? Should we also take into consideration who facilitated these? If they are juveniles, who facilitated these juveniles to these police
exactly.
station?
Those are those are the inclusion in the investigation that's supposed to be here. Because equally so, those children did not go there on their own to register, and people did it. Who is responsible to carry them? Who did the registration? Those things should also be investigated.
All right.
So that's
so Mr. To, we're on a network that is a credible network. Umana can't be spewing things that aren't true. The court is saying right now, people are even social security number when you go to vote. Look, I have not only participated in elections, I have contested election in this country. And by the way, I just put it in our chat room. Eric, ERRC states.org. That is the nobody caught you on my sister.
Hold on one second. Let me finish the point.
No way. I know you're going to get hard time when people start sweeping on your feet. But the problem here is that even the state that my brother George Toto said in Ohio, you see, Eric is the system that all of the states were using. Where there were tracks, for example, if I move out of Texas to Minnesota. I'm not from Ohio. Okay, sorry. If I move out of Texas to Minnesota, and I come to vote in Minnesota, they will check with Texas to make sure that I'm not voting in two states, right? So Eric was tracking that. Conservative states have removed themselves from that. So they don't even care about their tracking anymore. And when people talk about in the United States, there's a check and balance. Why is it that when you go to fill up your citizenship form, they ask you whether you have voted in a U.S. election before? Because they know there are people who vote in U.S. elections that are not U.S. citizens. There are people in jail for that. So the system is not foolproof. Don't say you're talking about the IV social security number. Have you ever voted in Minnesota where they ask you for a social security number? Sometimes we gotta be careful when we sit on this network and we just say things because we assume it's happening. It might be happening in your state. The point I was making here is that it's not universal in the United States. So people should not talk about voter ID as if it's universal in the United States. It is not. It might happen in your state. It is not universal. And the other piece to that is that when we sit down here, we try to talk about people not having system in Liberia. Just like I can go here to vote and somebody can challenge me, and the electoral judges, there are rules they follow to make sure that my vote counts. In Liberia, like what Alvin Penner is saying, if you challenge a child's age, a voter's age, there are other people in the community that are allowed to come and say, no, this person is of this age. So how is that any much different?
And besides that, the funny thing about it, it's kind of difficult to even compare America, Kate, because this country is such a way. The law in Massachusetts, the electoral law is different from that is the one in Rhode Island, the one in Connecticut. This one. So how can we congregate these kind of laws and stuff like that? There are still challenges. People dropping ballots and all of those places. But let's go to the line and finish with Koto, you finish your point? Hello?
So that before
okay.
I'm there. Yeah, I'm there. Hello?
Yeah. Do you have something else to say before I go to the next call on the line?
Yes, I still want to say that you just don't go to register to just vote here and you just walk in and vote. Even if for those who are even whom you are giving a slip to register, there is information on your registration, and that's why I want to make clear to citizens.
Yes, the other version here. We sat on the night when the election commission, magistrates, or officer were also questioning other people. Hey, this person did this. Other people are raising concern. We were the same people. Other people are saying that they say, oh, they're stopping people from voting. So we just want to have our way, which is not right as well. What I would trust the system on that, what I would trust the system, but I'm sure people were asked, other people raised concern of people ages, whether they were in our community, and we all from like, oh, they're stopping other people from voting this people that this people party. So I think we got to allow the process to play out. We got to trust the process. That's the process we have for now until we can, whatever changes that needs to be made. Okay, let me go to these two number here. Thank you so much. 763 number 7242, and I will come to 210 before I go back to the analyst. 763 7242. Good evening.
Yes, Mr. So thank you, and hello to your panelists. This is Elvis from Minnesota. Quickly, I want to say, let's stop discriminating against people who may have, who may be growth challenge, what we call a dwarf in like this. We have some people who live a small children, but when they're actually older, in all tells and terms. So maybe it's some of the situation. But most of the things we're talking about the vote, underage people voting is in local counties. Like be strong. So maybe at a youth people, looking for any kind of vote they can find for all the small towns and villages.
Oh my goodness.
But this is not new to Liberia. We saw this in Nigeria in other elections. People bring their kids, people who got killed, 11 children, want to also to vote for one candidate, so register the children. Maybe the person who's doing the registration is their nephew, and they're trying to, get extra votes for their candidate. So the lack of bureaucracy in our country, especially in the interior part of our country, is evident. Where you can't be there to mind these kind of things, or have people that will check, safeguard against voter frauds. It happens every election. There'll be a lot of voter fraud in this election, but again, it is what it is. The president has been elected, this way for many years. Everyone has similar things. We have similar things that will happen in this election. We can't fix it. So maybe after this election, we'll have to fix it in the next 6 years, but not this time around. It will happen. I just want to make that point, but thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much. Let's get a last caller for the day, and then we'll go to the analyst to wrap it up. 210 number 0098. Are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, good evening. Okay, welcome.
Concerning the voting, so we're talking about people go vote, they don't care ID card. The people already get it. You know where that thing happens? When they have there's some kind of way of in the system. When your name is system, you don't put your ID card, you just put your name in there, or your system security will ask for it and they'll find you. So nothing it will not happen in Liberia. So go vote. No, it will not happen in Liberia. It will not even work because you don't know that they haven't border with Sierra Leone, they haven't border with Guinea, they haven't border with Ivory Coast. It will not work in Liberia. So I was just trying to clarify that. The secretary was telling him, but they were going back and back.
Okay.
And the next thing is the registration. Remember, some people were registering on the phone. They didn't go to net to register.
Right.
Some people were doing a registration on the phone. Say, oh, I will register my people. I told my family member, go to net and register. And don't register twice. Make sure you register one time. If you really want to vote for President, you have to vote. You have to register one time and in the area that you live in. Because when you're not doing register, two times your vote will be disqualified.
But some people were not listening. They were doing the registration on the phone, and maybe the people that do the registration on the phone, they're the one that created all this problem. And so we just have to give people chance to do their job, even though a little bit confusing, but we have to give them chance to do their job. I just wanted to add my voice.
Thank you so much.
And my uncle put a more,
you put a 4-year motto there to them. Uncle put it that one. You know why you put it that in your throat, and I even more. We come and call ambulance now to take in. Why you keep it on right? Thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. Okay, so I'm not sure whether you have the time to just chip in here to tell us experience, but anyway, I'm gonna reach out. We're gonna have the conversation. So I think what matters, we're gonna see the second phase of the briefing to see when the list is being finalized, being well screened, sifted, and clean it out properly. Then we'll know exactly where we are with this whole thing. But everywhere, electoral thing is a very hectic thing. You will always see people beating the system. Even here, everywhere, some kind of people, they get some. Oh, let me see. Who's hello?
Yeah, this is Alvin Penn.
Oh, okay, Alvin. Thank you. Calling from Liberia, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I know you're one of guy. We'll try to make time here, but you are also participating in this process. I know it's an impromptu one here, but tell us so far the briefings from NEC and your own experiences or what you experience or what your supporters or voters are telling you with this whole process.
Yeah, the process was 100% accurate. Liberia is new to the system, but I want to address something the lady who just spoke mentioned. She said a lot of people are doing registration on the phone. The registration process on the phone gave more people easy access to a speeding process. So what happened was when you register on the phone, it sends you a barcode, and once you get to the site, all you have to do is to show the barcode to the screen, and then your information just pop up, and they do your fingerprint with your information. You just get your card in less than 2-3 minutes, rather than you sitting down and the people keying all your information, your mother name, father name. So that's why the people were doing that registration. It was not for them to beat the system, even though there were few people that beat the system with register with different names with the same fingerprints. But as for the process of NEC bringing forth some underage voter registration and even non-Liberian who are not citizens that did register, these are things that they should be effective of. And I think every site, from our observation, they had immigration officers that were asking questions and that has to do with citizenship and what have you. So they should step up their game and see what they can do better for Liberian people. I'm not going to criticize them for now, but we are observing to see as to how they can strengthen themselves, because there are a lot of information that we do have to counter whatever report they give.
Okay, all right. Well, definitely I'm going to reach out, and then we're going to go much deeper in politics with the status of your campaign and how things going and what we need to know from your end. So I will reach out. I know it's overdue, but we're going to have something. Sister, you want to say something?
Yeah, my man, Alvin.
Yes, sir, brother.
My man, you probably had to get this done, but when you win, I won't be cheap of style. Anyway, I laugh. I see a lot of the engagements, you're doing with the youth in Liberia and stuff like that. I know when you come on the platform, ask the question, but I just want to pick your brain. What does the future of Liberia look like based on your own analysis with your interaction with the young people? Because I see a lot of time with these young disadvantaged people, I don't want to call the derogatory name we give them, but I see you interacting with them a lot, giving them some real life, advices and stuff. Based on them, man, you won't be represented. How do you see the future of our country?
Liberia have lost hope for the future generation, because Liberia has gone through what is called psychological subversion. And because of what happened during the war, the new age that we now have, we call the new generation, the behavior and attitude that they have picked up is in total contradiction to what we have as the architecture structure value in terms of our value system. It does not exist. Now, they themselves, they are fighting for something authentic to call a character, but those whom supposed to show to them are not showing them. We will want to call for what is called the massive disruption to reset the country, because if the system that's supposed to govern the act morally is not implemented, and the governing body, which is the central government, supposed to enforce law to readjust the behavior of people in terms of penalizing them for wrongdoing, what have you, but people having leeway, most especially the young, then we also have a distorted future. But what we also want to take a look at is there are people who are born into the system that are genuinely good, and some of them are looking for a helping hand and people that will nurture them into the future. So I think we need more level-headed people into the system, people who are thinking far from the back, people who are fully acculturated to our old days. And we should also bring in what is called the selective incorporations of our ancestral behavior that is okay for this present time, that will now level the field in terms of good behavior for the future. That's my view from a more analytical perspective.
Okay. Speaking as you're a politician now, all right, you will connect.
You gotta get in the flash. So, I mean, I'm gonna reach out and we're gonna have an in-depth conversation with respect to your engagements and what we force.
Let me just say what I do to Avi before you leave.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Avi, hello.
Boss, the biggest boss.
Okay, Avi, I'm so proud of you. Avi, whatever I can call you, whatever I'm picking a recruiter. When you're in the Liberian community. We had a long history. But Avi, but what they advise is that, I know how the political change from Liberia, from history. There's no Liberian diaspora ever win election in Liberia. Representative or senatorial election as it'll be corrected. Well, I want to talk about good, but I live in the diaspora.
Yeah, he came from
not really live in the diaspora.
More left from here when, even though you are running behind, but when you won election.
So most of the time, so just be there. We there to support you. Whatever can make you to be successful, because I want to support the diaspora. To be successful like real politics. So reach out to me. Let's talk up the full. You know me personally, I know you personally, but thank you for the good work. I follow you and see what you're ready to
do. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chairman Toto. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Avins, I will connect and then we can have an in-depth conversation and arrange a better time.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, then. All right. Okay, guys, let's do our round table here quickly with our ongoing argument here before the night drops here. So, the Liberal.
Yes.
What are we taking home?
Have a wonderful day and good night.
You put your foot in your mouth tonight. Thank you so much. Dr. Toto?
So, very, very good discussion. But I want to leave tonight. I want to stay put back to our simple discussion we're having. Looking at the voting system in America here and the law. In America, we have a federal system here. Every state has their own law, how to run one or two things. So, we're looking at Liberia in our perspective to look at Liberia different perspective. In terms of the system and the database that people have in the country here, it track every citizen and non-citizen in the country here. So in terms of people get walking to a polling station to vote on that, I believe there's a system there I already identify you. I track you and know who you are. I can give, for example, when I used to work at Bank of America, they had a position that time was a supervisor for the whole loan department. They had a position that was available for citizens.
We're hearing a lot of things in the background.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing. Yeah, go ahead.
So they had a position available there for a citizen. And I know somebody from our community applied for that job because they wanted a green card holder, but because that position was so, like very juicy, they wanted to post a citizen. And that person got caught. Because while they had a sister there, or data being able to determine who's a citizen, who a citizen is that. Just to close on that.
Okay, Sister Boya. What's it? Who was the Tabata guy tonight on this network?
I see my brother Dr. Tusday'S trying to find a way around this. I work at one point in time for Paycheck, the payroll processing company. When you hire employees, the federal government requires you to check with the Department of Homeland Security, their immigration statuses. That is your everything. Federal election laws does not allow you to go through that same process. Those are two different things, not the same thing at all. And by the way, if this was foolproof, when you apply to be citizen, they will not have that question. I ask you whether you have ever participated in U.S. elections. They know it's not foolproof. That's why they ask you that question. Now, having said that, my point I'm making on this platform is because quite too often we try to compare America to Liberia. That's the reason I brought that out to say that photo ID law is not universal. And to require Liberian people to pay for ID card just to vote, I think puts an extra burden on poor people, which is not fair. And I know Mr. George was just saying student ID. My grandma in Slowo, ain't been to school, I should get student ID card. So a student ID card does not even show your age. It does not show your date of birth. So we have to do things that are unique to our Liberian system that we have in order to have check and balances. I am not against check and balances. I just don't like when people try to juxtapose stuff in America to Liberia, knowing fully well that everything is not universal in America. We got states' rights, which is different from state to state. Now, having said that, I'm going to leave with my last avatar here. I know the Liberal party's chairman. I heard their business just got closed down today by the Liberian Revenue Authority.
I didn't hear what you say.
Responsibility of the Liberty Party, and the man said on platform talking about he owed the government $165,000. He's a taxpayer, and this is the people money. I pay their taxes. He actually never said that he had money. He actually had to pay government taxes that he own money given to government. Forget to know that those taxes are placed on those few products and the consumers are paying it. He's just collecting it. He's supposed to give it to the government. But he's saying that they're talking tabata, but these are the people that are supposed to bring change. These are the clean people. These are the new people that are bringing change to Liberia that say that I can't pay government taxes, tax invasion people.
That's a serious crime here, though. Yeah. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much as usual. But this Saturday, I'm going to be having a fascinating conversation there. I just placed that call, they didn't pick up, and then later on, the call me back and the answer to that call. As usual, every Saturday, the Liberian War Today comes on 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. local time. Wow, one of the contestants in District Number 10 challenging incumbent Yeka Koluban, Madam Josephine Davis of the Congress for Democratic Change has accepted our invitation, and she will be appearing here on the Liberia Public Radio. That's part of our responsibility to reach out to all of these people. So we'll be coming here.
So when she come, please ask her to do that dance she did with the crew music dance.
What Benny gonna do you now one day? You want that? You want her to dance? I'm asking.
For Saturday, two can be on the show at the same time.
Everybody says, "What were you?"
Well, after I could reach out to Yeke, so maybe Yeke too can be available.
Yeke can take the following Saturday.
But they both be available today. Now, two people contesting for the same, they can't get be on the same show.
No, I want to have a conversation of something. I don't want to do the I would love to have Honorable Columbus. I mean, once you can convince him, that's fine. We want to talk to everybody. We don't want to be judgmental here, but I mean, these people, they are going to the first branch of government. We got to know what they are taking there and how they're going to do it differently. What is there that they are going to, what is there that is not working they are going to face? And I'm happy that she honored the invitation to come here. So we're going to be having Josephine Davis. She's what, a former IG, right? Commerce Inspector.
Yeah.
And being in the vanguard, one of those people in the vanguard for the CDC from Commerce now trying to go to in the first branch of government. So we're going to be having her here this Saturday, and let's see what she brings to the table and how the conversation going to go.
And
Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much. Yeah?
Let me just say this quick. You know, our Bitcoin weekend, I'm happy to spend some time with the rescue, what they call the rescue model. You know, so they don't
rescue model.
No, the original rescue model, Senator Kaga. You know,
is she still here?
Yeah, she got over LP from the LP, and then also the Delaco Papa girlfriend was there also too. You know, and
oh, Mandela too, yeah.
Yeah, no women are real on fire. I can see this election will be about the voice of women. You know, they are making the case, and they are already discussing the policy and the issue. You know, so it was a real fire speeches that were quoted from the women, especially in Bassa, Washington, Dana Cooper, and some other women that were there. So bringing Josephine on will be another good thing to hear from Osato.
Can you talk to Nyongli or maybe this liberal guy should be the one to get it through, but it's a problem.
I was following you excited until you try to draw a direct line between fiery speeches with Martha Washington and to Josephine Davis. Hey, but you can do something anytime you do. The evidence there, and I see your speeches. They were not nothing. The evidence all over the place. So they were
is that speeches going to elect president?
He talked about speeches. That's what he said, and that's the point I'm talking about.
Yeah, I said speeches.
I know that your person is trying to bring you want me burning them right now, but that's the fact.
This election, listen to her for listen to the new Josephine Davis on the show. That's it.
And that's why we're going to call these people and ask them what they have to offer.
What did you say the time was, Mr. So?
What?
What did you say the time was again?
Which time? What are you talking about?
He said time for her to show her.
Saturday when?
What he said? He said a time for her, the lady to show her.
Did you say Saturday or Sunday?
Samson told, tonight is a bad night for you. You finish telling us good night, you should be gone by 9. Good night. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and we'll wait. Tomorrow, are you coming on? What's this program tomorrow, the Liberal?
No, tomorrow that your time.
Oh, tomorrow is Wednesday.
Good night, folks.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, thank you so much, Liberal, and I running ahead of my shadow here this evening. Okay, folks, that does it. And our job is to reach out to people, no matter which political side they fall on. We must give everybody the opportunity to get their side heard. And I'm happy that she accept our invitations. I think they're going to be a way. And part of what people also refuse, people want to make sure where they are going. No, but I don't want to be disrespected. I don't want to go on an outlet where people are going to, not even ordinary people who are expressing their views, which is, of course, is not good. But that's the good thing I know about this network here. Our viewers, our followers, very disciplined people. They get to the point. They argue on the issue. They exchange ideas with their fellow viewers and stuff like that. But you can't, I would never go on an outlet where the host would be very disrespectful, would even encourage viewers or their followers to insult guests. That is not good. No innocent politicians will want to go into a household room or situation somewhere where they're going to be, feel very, very disrespected. We don't do that here. We're going to allow people to explain themselves, to tell their narrative, and we ask the tough questions needed to be asked without us inciting our own personal feelings or sentiments into national conversation. Don't be sentimental when you talk about national issues. Don't be too personal. And we're not going to go personal. We're going to go to critical issues as to how they got to this point and what they intend to do. What are they taking to the table? These are things we're going to be asking. Folks, I want to thank you so much for your time as usual. Again, to Eduardo, yeah, I'm happy to say that. But and one of the reasons is that LPI have done a lot of fundraiser for different group of people. For example, the students in Morocco. There was some folks that came from jail. They needed medical assistance with their eyes, with the visions and all of that here. Not that we don't want to ask, but you must ask, give convincing reason for people to give you something. I'm not saying whatever we've been doing in the past is not enough, but we just thought that we should take some more baby steps for us to feel comfortable to ask for your assistance. Yes, we're not collaborating with a network. The program going to be air. We want to even talk to them to see whether they can give us more air time, more days, and all of that. Their system there, you got to be few. Somebody who go in there, maybe they are off, they got to be going there, considering the time zone and all of that. So now there is a need that we use our good judgment here. So folks, if you feel whatever we're doing is worth to invest into, to give, feel free. The cash out there is the $ Liberia Public Radio, 682-433-8802. The same number that you always call here to regulate is Zelle. For those of you who have Citizen Bank, if you even use that Zelle, it goes there. Or the cash app, the Zelle, it goes straight to it. So it's not something that goes into somebody's personal stuff. And that it is what it is. But I will appreciate if you can give whatever you can give to help us to facilitate this program, update stuff, get things going. That would be a huge plus. If you don't have it, it's okay as well, but it is good to give. Just need to give for a rightful cause, and you can determine that what is good for you. You're going to spend your money. Until then, folks, I want to thank you so much. By God's willing, we're going to be back here tomorrow. It's Wednesday. It's all things considered. Every other thing that we left out in the space, we're going to dump all here tomorrow, and you're going to form part of this program as well. If this is your first time watching, we say thank you so much for joining us here this evening. This is the Diaspora Informative News Update, Liberia Public Radio. We appreciate your interactions, your comments, your tweets, and your time to be awake, whatever you are, whether in the USA or Europe or Liberia sort of guy. Having having panel is contesting to be up here is because they want to know what is going on. And that is very, very much important. I want to thank you so much for your time. Leave comments, suggestion as to how we can enhance, improve, things that we need to improve on, things that we need to make an adjustment. Let us know. I usually go back and read all of these comments. If this is the first time, we say you are wholeheartedly welcome. And I know most of the people said they can't see the live view. Sometimes it does trick out your notification. You want to go back and watch like the old video playing there, and you're going to see the bell icon. You hit on that bell icon, there will be a drop-down button. And preferably, you want to suggest all notification. All notification gives you the options when LPR is on in the USA, in Liberia, or any part, you will get it. When it goes to selective or selected notification, then it gives a choice of whatever that you can see. And it does happen to, we even do this sometimes playing with your device, it triggers, and sometimes you send a link, you can't see it, you got to enter searching to find it. That's what happens. So we always on. Thank you so much for your time and your commitment to this network. Until then, have a pleasant evening. I am Afonso Zienso on behalf of the rest of the crew. Bye-bye.
For too long now, you are holding on and making Jesus to run no. So let it go. It is painful, let it go. Oh yeah, mama, let it go. Let Jesus take. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, let it go. Let it go. Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go, man. Oh yes,
All right, folks, have a pleasant evening by God's willing. We're going to be back here tomorrow with more programming right here from the Diaspora Informative News Outlet, Liberia Public Radio. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.